Welcome, dear listeners. Tonight, I will share with you a story that glows softly, like a candle in the dark. It is the tale of an old candle maker, whose hands shaped light, but whose heart carried secrets. In this story, we will discover how one final flame revealed truths hidden deep in human lives. Stay with me, because this is not just about fire and wax, it is about wisdom, mistakes, joy, and the power of light. Vocabulary: glow, soft, steady light. Secrets: things kept hidden. Wisdom: deep knowledge from life experience revealed, shown, uncovered. Story begins in a quiet town far from big cities. There lived an old candle maker named Elias. His shop was small, wooden, and always filled with the warm scent of melted wax. For many years, people came to him not just to buy candles, but to listen to his gentle words. Elias believed candles were not only for light, but also for the soul. He often said, "A candle does not only burn to brighten a room, it burns to remind us of our own light." Vocabulary: scent, smell, gentle, kind, soft. Brighten, to make light or cheerful remind. To make someone remember Elias was now very old. His hair was white, his back slightly bent, and his hands shook while shaping wax. Yet his eyes still carried a glow, as if fire lived within them. The townsfolk respected him deeply, because every candle he made seemed to have its own life. Weddings, funerals, prayers, festivals, people used his candles for all. Vocabulary: bent, curved, not straight, shook, trembled, moved unsteadily. Respect, deep admiration, townsfolk, people of the town. But one cold evening, Elias sat in his workshop alone, looking at the last pieces of wax left. His body was weak, and he knew his time was nearing its end. He whispered, "I will make one final candle. A candle that will not simply burn. It will show truth." Vocabulary: workshop, place of work, small shop. Weak, lacking strength. Nearing, getting close to truth. Real fact, not hidden. He worked all night. The wax melted slowly. The wick was placed carefully, and he whispered words while shaping it. It was as if Elias was putting pieces of his own soul into that candle. When it was done, the flame inside seemed to wait, sleeping, ready to wake when lit. Elias smiled and placed it on the highest shelf. Vocabulary: wick, string inside a candle, shaping, giving form, soul, spirit, inner self, shelf, flatboard for keeping things. The next morning, a young woman named Clara entered the shop. She was troubled, her eyes red from crying. She asked, "Elias, I am lost. My heart is full of regret. I made choices that hurt people, and I do not know how to live with them." Elias looked at her gently. He reached for the final candle and gave it to her. "Light this tonight," he said softly, "and you will see what you carry inside." Vocabulary: troubled, worried, upset, regret, sadness about past choices. Gently, softly, kindly, carry inside to hold in the heart. That night, Clara lit the candle in her small room. The flame rose slowly, brighter than any candle she had ever seen. As it flickered, the glass of her window seemed to vanish, and in its place appeared visions of her past. She saw her childhood, her laughter, the kindness she once gave freely. Then she saw her mistakes, the lies, the anger, the selfishness. Clara gasped, covering her mouth. The candle showed everything, both her light and her shadows. Vocabulary: flickered, moved quickly like fire-shaking visions. Images, scenes not really there. Selfishness, caring only for oneself. Shadows, dark sides, faults. At first, Clara felt shame. She wanted to blow out the candle, but something inside told her to keep watching. Then she saw a different vision, what she could still do. She saw herself apologizing, forgiving, and choosing kindness again. Tears rolled down her face, but they were no longer only sad tears. They were tears of hope. Vocabulary: shame, painful feeling of guilt, forgiving, letting go of anger against someone, hope, belief that good can happen. Rolled, moved smoothly, like tears falling. The next morning, Clara returned to Elias with swollen eyes but a smile. "It showed me everything," she whispered. Elias only nodded and said, "Now you know. The flame is not fire. It is truth." Vocabulary: swollen, bigger than normal from crying. Whispered, spoke softly. Nodded, moved head to agree, flame, fire of the candle. Soon, word spread in the town about the strange candle. People came, one by one, asking Elias to let them see it. A farmer who had cheated his neighbor, a widow who still blamed herself for her husband's death, a boy who felt useless in life, all came, and all were changed after seeing their truths. Vocabulary: spread, moved from one to many. Widow, woman whose husband has died, blamed, thought it was one's fault, useless, without value or purpose. But Elias gave the candle only to those who truly sought change. He would say, "This flame is not for curiosity, it is for courage." Vocabulary: sought, searched for, wanted curiosity, wished to know something, courage, bravery, facing fear. The candle in Elias' shop had now become more than wax and fire. It had become a mirror of the human heart. Every person who lit it saw not only their regrets but also their hidden strengths. The town began to change. People who once carried bitterness now forgave. Families who had broken apart slowly came together again. The little town grew warmer, not just because of candles, but because of truth. Vocabulary: mirror, something that reflects back bitterness. Strong anger and sadness kept inside forgave, let go of anger and gave peace. Regrets, sadness about past mistakes. Yet Elias knew the candle could not burn forever. He was old, and he felt his time drawing near. At night, when everyone was asleep, he sat beside the candle and spoke softly. "You are my last gift. When my body is gone, may your light remain." His voice was tired but peaceful, for he believed he had given his town something more valuable than gold. He had given them truth. Vocabulary: forever, without end. Gift, something given to someone, remain, to stay, to not disappear. Valuable, precious, worth much. One evening, a boy named Samuel entered the shop. Samuel was only 12, but his eyes carried a sadness deeper than his age. He told Elias, "Everyone says I am weak. I cannot work in the fields like other boys. I cannot fight. I feel I am nothing." Elias smiled gently. He placed the final candle in Samuel's hands. "Light it, and it will show you not what others say, but what you truly are." Vocabulary: weak, not strong fields, land where crops grow. Truly, really, in reality, gentle, soft, kind. That night, Samuel lit the candle. At first, he saw himself being laughed at, struggling with heavy tools, failing in games. Tears filled his eyes. But then, the flame grew brighter, and a new vision appeared. Samuel sitting under a tree, writing words in a book, teaching children, speaking wisdom beyond his years. The boy gasped. He had never thought his future could hold such strength. The candle did not lie. It showed him a power he had never seen, the power of knowledge. Vocabulary: struggling, having a hard time. Vision, image, scene that appears. Wisdom, deep knowledge, life understanding. Knowledge, learning, information, truth. The next day, Samuel told Elias, "The candle showed me a teacher. But I am poor. How can I ever become one?" Elias touched his shoulder. "Do not doubt the flame. Walk the path it has shown. You are not weak, you are different, and difference is power." Vocabulary: poor, without money or wealth. Doubt, to not believe, to question path. way, road power, strength, or ability. News of Samuel spread, and the town began to support him. They gave him books, asked him to read aloud, and soon his words touched even the oldest among them. The candle's magic was not only in showing truth, it was in awakening hidden gifts. Vocabulary, support, help, stand beside someone, aloud, speaking so others hear awakening, bringing to life, making active gifts, talents, abilities. Years passed, and Samuel grew into a wise teacher. Elias, however, became weaker. His hands could no longer shape wax, his legs trembled, and he spoke in whispers. One evening he called Samuel and Clara, the first woman who had lit the candle. "My children," Elias said, "I am leaving soon. This candle cannot remain here forever. It must go into hands that understand it." He looked at them with eyes shining like the last flame of a dying fire. Vocabulary: trembled, shook, slightly whispers, very soft speech leaving, going away, dying, dying fire, last burning flame before it ends. Samuel asked, "But who will guard it?" Elias answered, "The flame does not need guarding, it needs sharing. Promise me, you will never keep its light for selfishness. Use it to guide, not to rule." They both nodded. Elias closed his eyes and said softly, "Then my work is done." That night he passed away peacefully, his face calm as if he were only sleeping. Vocabulary: guard, to protect. Selfishness, thinking only of oneself, guide, lead, show the way. Passed away, a gentle phrase for dying. After his death, the town mourned, but also celebrated the gift Elias had left them. The candle became a treasure, passed carefully from hand to hand. People no longer feared their past because the flame had taught them. Mistakes do not define us. They guide us to wisdom. Vocabulary: mourned, felt sorrow, grieved treasure, something very precious to find, to say what something truly is wisdom, knowledge gained through experience. Years later, Samuel, now an old teacher, placed the candle before his students. He lit it and said, "This is not just a candle. This is the truth of Elias. It will show you not the life you dream of, but the life you are meant to live." His voice echoed in the room, filling the young with both fear and hope. Vocabulary: students, learners in school. Echoed, sound repeated, meant to live, destined the true purpose of life. Fear, feeling of being afraid. The candle burned many times after that, in many homes, for many hearts. And though Elias was gone, his flame continued to guide generations. It was no longer just the candlemaker's last flame. It was the town's eternal light, a reminder that true wealth is not gold, but moments of honesty, kindness, and courage. Vocabulary: generations, people of different ages, passed over time eternal, lasting forever reminder, something that makes you remember honesty, truthfulness. And so, dear friends, the story of Elias the candlemaker comes to an end. But his flame is not gone. It lives in every act of truth, in every word of forgiveness, in every choice of kindness. Remember, the smallest light can defeat the greatest darkness. May we all carry a little flame within us, not of wax, but of wisdom. Vocabulary: defeat, to win against. Darkness, absence of light, also symbol for sadness or evil. Carry within, to hold inside oneself. Wisdom, deep knowledge of life.